Recording in
And
progress.
hit the timer. Hi folks, thanks for streaming. This episode of Yumio to Ohanashi features an adult fantasy author, Erika McCorkle from the US. Thanks for returning here, Erika. So this interview is a little different from my normal ones with authors. Basically, gamers and gaming. So my very first question to you. What is your gaming history? In my case, I started from Famicom, Japan's Nintendo, with Spartan X, with its Kung Fu Master, and the last one was PlayStation 2's Gradius 5. So how about you?
Well, I started a
Mm?
long time ago. I was maybe, I don't know, it was back in 1995 maybe,
95.
playing Final Fantasy, but I didn't know what I was doing. It was my mom's game.
Mom's
I
games.
I eventually got the Super Nintendo. That was like my first console system. What really got me playing video games a lot was Final Fantasy. We called it 3 in the US, but it's Final Fantasy 6.
Oh,
So
that's confusing.
that's kind of yeah, that's that's the game that got me going, and I'm still playing. I play games every day currently. So
I see. So what is your recent game console? Did you get any kind of modern ones?
recently I've been playing just PC games. I've
Like
been
a
playing
Steam?
yeah, I've been playing Genshin Impact
I
a
see
lot
Genshin.
lately. Yeah, yeah.
I see. Thank you. And how about the among those big two JRPG, which one do you pick? Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy? No both, because we Japanese gamers argue Drake, FF, Final, something like that. So.
Well, the reason I wanted you to ask this one is because I feel like Americans almost always pick Final
Ha
Fantasy,
ha ha
but
ha.
I am the rare exception. I love Dragon Quest. Like that's the one that I pick as my favorite.
I see. So why do you think Americans prefer Final Fantasy?
I think it's more just cinematic. There's more emphasis on big, flashy action scenes. Dragon Quest is also more grindy, which isn't really what Americans tend to like.
I see.
So,
And the Dragon Quest is pretty much relying onto the Wizardry series because you have to choose your character names and you have to enter your character names and pick those characters of your favorite. Except some Dragon Quest 6 or 4, but the Dragon Quest is basically you have to decide by yourself instead of the picking your favorite characters. That's one element I believe. How about the you? So your pick was Dragon Quest. So among its long-running serialization, which one do you consider top three and why?
so I would pick Dragon Quest 5 and
5,
11,
11.
and I feel those are very safe picks. Everyone loves those two. But also, I would say also one of my favorites, Dragon Quest 7.
7.
And I know a lot of people hate 7,
Oh,
and
really?
I understand. I love Dragon Quest 7. It's long, yes, and that's why I love it. I love that it feels like I'm going on this epic adventure, like I'm in an anime, and like it's a bit episodic, but it's fun. It's nostalgic. I love it so much.
So I think Dragon Quest after Dragon Quest 5 or 6, Dragon Quest series incorporate those kind of what we call the kakushi characters, those are kind of hidden boss characters, because Final Fantasy started doing that one from 5, like Shinryu or Omega or those things, and I believe Dragon Quest 7 has those kind of kakushi boss characters. So did you try to complete everything?
I tried to do as much as I could. I do remember. I think you could fight like literally God in that game, and I wasn't strong enough. I didn't even really try that one. He was a bit too hard for me. So, but I did do just about everything else in that game.
I see, I see. And how about the those Dragon Quest earlier series? Did you play those 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Yes, I've played every numbered Dragon Quest game except for I think it's 10. Is it the one that's an MMO? I don't play MMO.
MMO.
That's the only one that I didn't play.
I think the Final Fantasy series kind of alienated lots of fans when it went to like MMO or the online things, I think.
Right, yeah.
I see. And how about the on Dragon Quest V? Did you kind of have those memorable moments? Because the Dragon Quest V for me, the most dramatic scene was when the protagonist got petrified, and years passed, and they met the daughters, children close to their age. That was kind of dramatic moment.
Yeah, that moment stuck with me for so long. I still remember it. Yeah, that was so powerful. It still kind of surprises me a bit to this day that it went with that.
And yes.
And also, that's the game where you can like you marry, you choose which of the ladies you want. So that always stuck with me. It's like, oh yeah, that's the game where you have a family and you're traveling around with the family, and I just think that's really cool.
And back in the 90s, anyone who chose Flora were condemned so heavily in Japan. Yes, most people say Bianca, that's the only choice. But the opinion kind of changed in the 2000s and recently. Recently, many Japanese people who play Dragon Quest in their teens got like adult age. So that's why they kind of argue, such as Bianca or Flora, which one? And that's why recently those fans of Flora is having more than in the 90s.
Yeah, I liked Flora, or her name changed. Like I played it twice on 2 different versions, and her name changed between it. So I'm not sure. Is it Flora or like something else?
And Japanese version Flora.
Flora, okay, yeah, but like the blue-haired girl,
yes,
I think.
Yes.
Yeah, she was. So I went with her. She was my first pick.
And also the Horiyuji was pretty playful. That he kind of inserted the hidden scene where the main character and Bianca stay in the same place, and Bianca tries to get close to him, and the screen goes fade out. Then we kind of imagined, I see they had something. So.
Definitely.
I see. Thank you. And how about what kind of world building do you expect from RPG in general, such as Middle Earth, sci-fi, dystopia, and a lot?
Well, I mean, I don't really expect anything. It's just whatever it gives me, I'm happy with. But I do love seeing high fantasy, lots of magic and colorful and just bright environments and monsters and magic and just neat things. I also am a fan of technobabble. I know a lot of people don't like that, but I do, like give me the kind of technobabble that you might see in like Tales of the Abyss, for example. I absolutely love that. Or like the Artonelico games.
Yes, Japanese people don't prefer so much of a cyberpunk or the dystopia thing or sci-fi thing. Japanese people prefer more fantasy on RPGs thing. So which game was so impactful for you to still remember and overall storyline and those characters?
So I mentioned that I generally prefer Dragon Quest, but I feel like Final Fantasy has the higher highs. For me, like Final Fantasy VI is super memorable. Like I feel like I could tell you every single like story beat, every scene. I just remember it vividly. And all the characters, I could probably write a thesis on every one of them.
Thesis, that is epic. Yes, yes, I remember. Final Fantasy VI was the only one that Sid got miserably died because I think he got those separated from the party member, and Rosa, I think the character Rosa, I forgot her name. The female character took care of him, and unfortunately Sid passed away. That's pretty memorable, but
Celes.
Sorry, I see.
Or Celeste, I'm not sure how you say it, but well, you can save him, but the scene is way better if you let him die. It's way more tragic and dramatic.
It's pretty much emotional. So how about which game's ending heavily moved your emotion and made you literally cry in front of a TV monitor?
Oh, well, I don't know if it's really the ending. Endings don't really make me cry, but I did get really sad near the end of Persona 4. But I think they should have done something different. I won't say spoilers, but I will say it could have been a lot sadder if they'd gone with a bit of a ballsier move.
Persona 4, I see. Yes, I haven't I got alienated from Persona series because the Persona series kind of shifted to more catchy, and majority for those Megami Tensei series was more core and hardcore and difficult for lots of regular people. Persona got lots of wider audience, and many people love Persona series, but I kind of got alienated from Persona, I'd say. But I heard that Persona 4 is a masterpiece among the series. I see that.
I kind of fell away from Persona with number 5, but I loved 3 and 4, but yeah, 5 wasn't really to my taste.
When first Persona was released, Nanjo-kun got so popular at the time. The guy with the glasses and kind of having those like boastful attitude.
Now Persona 1, like in America, it got censored and changed heavily. So like But Persona 1 I played is probably very different from what you played.
I see.
It has been remade, I think, on like the PSP. So like we do have an accurate version of it, but the original on the PlayStation 1, very different.
Yes, Persona 1's original PlayStation 1 version was relatively difficult because the dungeons are long and the enemies is just back attacks, and I threw my game controller to the tatami so many times on PlayStation 1. So.
Yeah, that's fair.
I see. Which game did you spend your time the most? My record was 175 hours of Sega Saturn's Devil Summoner Soul Hackers. That was the longest. I completed everything on that one.
So I'm pretty sure the most I've ever played is probably Genshin Impact that I'm playing right now, but it doesn't keep track of the time, so I don't have an exact amount. I'm sure it's over 1,000 hours by now.
Oh, really? So,
I have also hit 1,000 hours on Disgaea, Hour of Darkness, and I came really close with not RPGs, but like some like strategy games like Crusader Kings.
Those are time-consuming.
Civilization. Yeah, I've gotten real high on those ones.
I see, thank you. And how about which video game brains do you consider so hateful? I want to punch his face, but it's memorable.
Oh goodness, a lot.
A lot.
I mean, going back to Final Fantasy, you know, Sephiroth was one of my original favorites. He's evil, but I also am kind of in love with him, so memorable for that reason. Yeah,
way too many bitches. How about
too many villains?
I see. So
I feel like I could name like just a billion villains from like the PlayStation 1, like. But a lot of them go into this next question, so
I see. Which video game brains do you think is lovely despite going against protagonists?
So the first person I thought of when I read this one was Galleon from the Lunar series. I'm in love with him. He's a classic villain. He's hot. But he is evil. But also misunderstood. Like he has a tragic backstory, and he kind of goes for a redemption arc. But yeah, he's great.
Yes, in Japan, many Dragon Quest fans got shocked by playing 4 because 4's story was relatively dark because the big boss character, the final boss character, has a reason to extinct humanity. So that was pretty shocking for junior high school kids like me at the time. I see. So which main character do you consider ideal and why?
So I don't know if I'd call anyone ideal because I like all sorts of characters. You know, give me happy-go-lucky kids or dark and brooding adults. But I wanted to kind of shout out the 3 from like my trifecta of like I call it like my nostalgic adventure anime PlayStation era games. And that is Grandia, Lunar, and Skies of Arcadia. So those 3 main characters, you know, it's Alex, Justin, and Vice. So those 3 are like my 3 just like fun boys. You know, they're going on an adventure. It's fun. It's fantasy. It's lighthearted. I really love them.
I see. Yes, Grandia. Yes, I had a lot of friends who loved Grandia, so I miss playing that one. So finally, any message to those listening or watching this interview?
I mean, if you're listening to this, you probably play video games. Play older games. Like I feel like too many people don't know their classics. Play a PlayStation 1 game, a Super Nintendo game, a PlayStation 2 even. You know, I guess that's old now. You know, go enjoy some of the classics.
And if you're a fantasy author, you should play games, so you're gonna be familiar with those ancient monsters such as Pazuzu, Lucifer, Satan, Amon, Belphegor, Astaroth. The list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
And the persona is Mara-sama. Mara-sama is a phallic figure monster. Looks like a penis-shaped one with a green color.
Oh yeah, Mara. Yeah.
Mara-sama, it was so memorable. Okay, thank you very much, Erika. So, folks, if you're interested in Erika, follow her account at KIRAOFTHEWIND1 and her gaming account at Kira of the Winds 8. Oh, that means that you have 8 Twitter accounts?
No, I just like the number 8, so I wanted to get that one before anyone else took it.
I see, because I don't think you can handle more than 2 accounts on Twitter.
No, it's just Kirbywind 1 and 8.
I see, 1 and 8, I see. Okay, truly appreciate the participation, Erika, so wish you great success and we'll keep in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you.